G'day everyone, welcome to the To Climb a Mountain podcast, a beginning indie author's journey with Morrison. And I really need to make a new podcast name or something because I always get caught up on that podcast name. I think I got it right that time. Anyway, this episode's going to be about my free book promotion I did of Heir to a Lost Son on the dates of November 20th to 21st US Eastern Standard Time. The dates are always hard for me to work out because I'm in Australia and I'm about, I believe, 16 hours ahead of the US West Coast and about 12 hours ahead of the US East Coast, so it's always a bit confusing really. But yes, I did a free promotion. My book launched on November 15th, and if you want to find out more about what happened and how I made some mistakes on my book launch, watch my last video, which actually wasn't a podcast episode. But today's episode is going to be about the free promo I did 5 days after the botched launch that I did of Heir to a Lost Son, my first book I've ever released, a self-published book. And things haven't really gone as well as I had planned. So in a minute, I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to show you my report screen, how many copies I've sold. I'm going to show you my rank in the free store, although I didn't get the best rank. I didn't take a screenshot of it. And I'm just going to go through my reports and how much I've made out of Heir to a Lost Son, how many copies I've sold, how many copies were downloaded during the free promotion. Also go into what I've learned from it and what you can learn from it too if you're a new author like me who's releasing their first book. So the main question is, was it worth doing the free promotion? Then watch on and find out. Alright, here's my cover to Heir to a Lost Son. I just want everyone to see what it looks like. It is a pretty good cover. I'm not 100% sure how well it sells epic fantasy, but for this video it doesn't matter. I just wanted to quickly show you the cover, and it's a pretty good cover, I feel. At least I like it. I actually don't have the screenshot of my lowest ranking in the free store, but I know it was 817. I copy and pasted it on my tablet. I just didn't get a screenshot on it because it was like at 2 o'clock or something in the morning for us here in Australia. So here's a screenshot I took on my computer before going to bed. It's at 12:17, free in the Kindle store, 4 in science fiction, fantasy, science fiction, steampunk, 8 in science fiction, metaphysical and visionary, and 9 in science fiction, genetic engineering. So it did pretty well. I never expected to get quite so high in the ranks. I paid a guy on Fiverr to do a whole lot of free promotions. He signed up to a bunch, I think it was 40 free promotion sites for me. It only cost me about $6.50 Australian, and he signed me up to them, which admittedly I'm being spammed by most of these places now. But he signed me up to them, and I don't know how much difference they made, but my book did really well, and it was free for a bit over a day and a half. And when I took it off free, it was still climbing in the ranks. It would have been fascinating to see how high it would get. But I told my mailing list that the offer was ending at 5 PM US Eastern Standard Time, which was actually about 5 AM in the morning for me. So it was quite an early morning, getting up that early to quickly switch it off free. Here's my book on Amazon at the moment. I've put it at $3.95. It was 99 cents for the first week and a half or so because I accidentally released 5 days early, as I explained in my last video. And I needed to keep it for 99 cents for the few promos I did that I could afford to do. I have changed the blurb maybe since that last video. I'm still not sure how well it converts or how well, I just don't have the data to really say how well my blurb or anything is working at this point. So at current, my rank for this book is at 212,814. It has been out since November 15th, so it's not doing particularly well. And I've still only have 14 reviews, which were from my ARC readers. Okay, so now to my report screen. This is the reports from November 15th to November 28th. The blue one here is the 3 days, and the tiny little yellow things are the sales I've made. So in my first few days, I sold 4 copies on November 15th, November 16th, another 4, November 17th, nothing on November 18th, 6 copies on November 19th, and the free launch ran on November 20th. And for November 20th, I had 171 free downloads, which is awesome. For November 21st, I had 6 sales, which happened after I'd put it back from free, and 105 free downloads, and that ended at 5 p.m. US Eastern Standard Time. Now, the next day, I was hoping there'd be some carryover in sales, or at least something from getting so high in the free store, but when I went back to the paid store, my book was at well over 100,000 in rank, although within a few hours it had dropped down. Now, the next day, November 22nd, it had 2 paid downloads and 1 free download. I'm not sure where that free one came from. The next day I had 2 again, November 23rd. The next day 2 again, November 24th. November 25th, 1. And then nothing on November 26th. Then here in Australia it's November 27th, so none again. Nothing very good after the free promotion. Now I realise a lot of the benefit I'll have with the free promotion might not show up for a while. I might get reviews in the coming weeks if people have read through the book. I might also get some newsletter subscribers. I have actually got a couple. I just don't know if they were from the free promotion or if they were from people buying the book or even just people stumbling over my website. They were in my landing page segment of my mailing list, so I know that they came from my book or at least from my website and not from Insta Freebie, where I have about 350 newsletter subscribers, something like that, 400, I can't remember now off the top of my head. So the different segments tell me where they come from, and these ones definitely came from either my book or my website and went straight to my landing page. Now for Camp, KNNP, however you say that, the page reads, since November 20, the free promotion, November 20th to 21st, I've had 68 page reads there and 2, and then absolutely nothing. So I'm not sure why I'm not getting page reads. I've definitely, I believe, had some people borrow the book as my ranking has declined and yet no sales have come up. So I assume that means people have borrowed the book. But as yet, I've barely had any page reads. I've probably had maybe a little over 100 overall so far. And as I said in my last video, maybe my book isn't for everyone. It's written in the style of 80s and 90s epic fantasy. So long chapters and just a prolonged storyline. There was a lot of action early on. It wasn't like one of those books that take 100 pages to get into it or anything. And even the prologue has quite a bit of action and intensity in it. So I'm hoping it'll carry people through. So it's possible only one person's downloaded my book and they're not reading it every day. I mean, just have no way to tell. Now for the sales themselves, they're pretty abysmal. I haven't even made a profit on my Amazon ads, which I'm still trying to learn. Reading Brian Meeks' book still. But Amazon.com, $5.92, .uk, 58 cents, the German one, 29 cents, nothing on most of those ones. Canada, 88 cents, and Australia, $2.25, which is probably mostly my friends and family here that bought it at 99 cents, or actually it's about $1.15 Australian. So yes, my book isn't doing particularly great. However, that said, I speak to other new authors or even fledgling indie authors that have 1 or 2 books out, and my experience doesn't seem too dissimilar from theirs. But I mainly wanted to look at whether this free promotion I did had any immediate benefit afterwards, and I guess the answer is no. It seems to have had no benefit. The only good thing is about 200, over 200, nearly 300 people, have my book out there and are reading it. Or at least they've got it sitting on their Kindles. So hopefully they're reading it. And maybe that'll have long-term benefits. I just don't know yet. I'm hoping book 2 will be out on December 21st, which is Dawn of a Lost Sun. I'm hoping to get book 3 out probably February next year. and a short book sometime in January, which I finished the first draft of. I just need to edit. So I'm hoping these people will come back to my series and buy the other books. So there still might be benefits to the free promotion. I just haven't seen any yet. Now, considering how bad I've done, you might be wondering why am I even sharing this? It's because I want others to see how hard it can be for a fledgling author, even one that does a lot right. I wrote a short book that is my reader magnet. I've put it out there. I've got people on my mailing list. I actually, even though my book has only sold about 27 copies, I actually have some fans, some people that have written me a nice letter. I've got a beta reader now, and I thank her so much for everything she's doing for me. She's really helping me out. So it hasn't been all bad, even though this looks terrible. And if you're trying to make money off of it, this isn't certainly the way to do it. I mean, I haven't sold a single copy since my book's become $3.99, but at least I've had nice letters, emails from people, and I have touched a few people at least. So that warms my heart, knowing that there are people out there that actually care. I also hope in future I can learn from my mistakes with this launch, and I can come back to this video and see just what it was like for my first book launch. I hope, obviously, to do better in future.
So there you have it, the Riley Morrison road to success and prosperity, being a full-time writer. Yes, but in reality, this is my first book, and I tried a free promotion, and I believe it will pay off long term. Hundreds of people have my book out there now, and I hope they all enjoy it when they get around to reading it, and I hope that will lead to reviews and sales of future books in the series. A few people have bought Dawn of a Lost Sun, my second book in the series. I know my beta reader was one of them. I don't know how many others have bought it, as the sales don't seem to show up in my KDP report for some reason. But anyway, it has a rank. Hopefully some of the people that downloaded the book will buy it. And I hope I've built a bit of a more concrete bond with my mailing list by telling them it was free, and hopefully getting a lot of them to go and download it for free. I did get a couple of angry emails afterwards from people that had missed it, so I just set up a book funnel so they could quickly download the book, and that hopefully avoided any other issues with getting negative reviews or something with people that missed out. But that's something you've got to be careful about. Make sure you word your email very carefully when you offer them something for free like that, as everyone lives on different time zones and not everyone opens their email straight away. That's something else I've learned. So in future, I'll be definitely very careful how I do these sorts of promotions. So everything was long term, but I still think it's a viable method to get your book out there, especially if you launch and you don't really gain any traction, or if you're in my situation where you just didn't really have money for promotions. This is probably the best way I got my book out there to a lot of people. Otherwise, had I just not given it away for free, I'd probably be still selling the 1 or 2 copies a day, which I'm doing anyway, but I wouldn't have had my book out there in hundreds of people, nearly 300 people's hands. So I do think it's a viable strategy for a new author like me. Whether I do it in the future or not, I don't know. I guess time will tell on that one. Well, anyway, I hope you've learned something from this video, and if you're a new author like me, especially if you're about to launch a new book, then good luck with it. It seems like it's a pretty difficult business, but I'm sure, like me, you want to do this full time. So good luck with your books, and take care, and thanks for listening. Bye for now.